right, y'all. Welcome to the show. Coming at you on a delay from the thriving downtown metropolis of Jefferson City, Missouri. And look, I want to kick it off, first of all, with a trigger warning. Some of the horrible shit that I've said that has come out of my mouth, I got in trouble because that bitch attacked me because of what I said.
I mean, come on.
I called her a whore.
You called me a whore? That's why I called the police, and that's exactly how it went down.
And you know what? Here's the thing.
She's a whore.
And that's when the whores come in.
Oh, here we go. Excuse me, what was that? Not again.
Men laying their trick money down, $20 to pay the rent. Maybe instead I'll spend it on the whore.
See, you can say that, but apparently if I say that, it's a terrible thing. And you're like...
So, they think they're all perfect,
And bars they surround me, but I don't want no sympathy, baby.
Answer the phone. Answer the phone. Let's talk about this. I really want to have a conversation with you, Jeremy. You will never get me because you are not owed anything. I am more than happy to have a conversation with you about this and forward you the divorce decree that shows that you're not owed a single goddamn thing. You're an idiot, Jeremy. Call me personally. I promise you, Jeremy, if you do not contact me the next time, we will settle this in court because I need you to understand. I need you to understand you're not owed anything. Leave me the fuck alone. I haven't sucked your dick in 5 years. I haven't looked you in the eye in 5 years. I want nothing to do with you, but you obviously want me. You obviously are obsessed with this pussy. That's what you want. That's what you talk about. That's what you tell people about. That's what you write podcasts about. Dude, learn your fucking shit before you ever fucking come at me again, because you know for a fact I'm smarter than you, I'm better than you, I'm faster than you, and I am richer than you, and I will win every time.
All right, what's up, y'all? Man, coming at you from the thriving metropolis, downtown Jefferson City, Missouri, over Memorial Weekend 2026. 2026. And so much has happened over this weekend. I'm not even going to get into it all because it's going to be its own episode. It's going to be later. This is part 3. Parts 1 and 2 are in one video on YouTube. All of them got taken off of Spotify, so I'm re-upping them here. And so that's what this is. It's kind of a re-edited, remastered. I'm about to take the dogs down to the river. So, I'm just doing a quick little... just to get the story out. I don't even care anymore. It's just about warning people. And not about her specifically. Because the warning is about ourselves. We're dangerous to each other. We're dangerous to ourselves. We make the decision of the people we want to be with. We think that they're okay. We convince ourselves that they're okay. We ignore the red flags, and they're all there. I can look back and see. And all those flags, instead of them adding up to stop, I knitted them together and made a big old quilt. Giant red quilt full of red flags. But see, that's because I was ignoring my own. And so we get into that. And then in this episode also, it kind of gets into my daughter and the situation with her a little bit and the court system. And what the overarching issue is that when you're not in control of your life, you give control really to the courts and to society themselves and to other people, other entities that have their own agendas. The reality is it's usually not what's best for the people involved, as we'll see. Here we go.
Came to tell my story to all these young and eager minds. Look in their unspoiled faces and their curious bright eyes. Stories of corruption, crime, and killing, yes, it's true. Greed and fixed elections, guns and drugs and whores and booze. It's been a while since I put on a suit of my own clothes, and even longer since I cast my shadow on a church house door. They say every sin is deadly, but I believe they may be wrong. I'm guilty of all 7, I don't feel too bad at all. And I used to have a wad of $100 bills in the back pocket of my suit. I had a 45 underneath my coat and another one in my boot.
Okay, everybody, welcome to part 3. I want to kick it off by, first of all, saying I appreciate everyone's support so far. I did not anticipate so many people listening and caring, first of all, and I did not anticipate so much support and so much support from women. So I appreciate everyone. We're just kind of really getting into the overall thing. The first 2 were just what happened to me, right? But before we get into all that, I want to talk about, first of all, the song that I played on the intro, Drive-By Truckers, Cottonseed. Great song from a great album. There's like an anniversary reissue coming, like some remix, recut, reimagine, like the director's cut, kind of, The Dirty South, Drive-By Truckers. So I think it's available to stream on Spotify already. Check that out. Definitely glad to have live music back in my life on a level that I'm used to. I went and saw Dead & Company in St. Louis, and that was awesome. I went in with very low musical expectations. I just wanted to go hang out with my friends and have a good time, right? And so that's what I did. But musically, they were kind of on fire. They were excellent. John Mayer tore it up. Jeff Kameni. Just a great band. Jay Lane on drums. Killed it. I was thoroughly impressed. Had a great time. It was awesome to see so many friends and have such a good social experience considering everything that had happened. But everybody that saw me was like very much open arms and glad to see me. And we had just the most fantastic time. And at the very end, you know, everybody was all dosed out and everybody was singing Knocking on Heaven's Door and Kumbaya and Arm in Arm. And the guy that I'm standing next to with my arm around turns and looks at me and goes, "I'm friends with your ex-wife." I stopped and I stood back and I go, "A lot of people here probably are." And he goes, "Yeah, well, we all know she's full of shit anyway." And I just started laughing. I said, "Yeah, we all know what really happened." Went back to singing, "Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door, oh, hi, hi." And I went to the Steepwater Band a few weeks ago. I actually wound up jamming with those guys, playing bass on a couple of Stone songs. So big shout out to them. Last Friday, Paul Jackson put me on the guest list for a Blackberry Smoke show at Chesterfield Amphitheater, so got a really good recording of that. Might throw a few songs from those recordings onto another episode coming up. I also have an episode that I'm going to do that's just all women artists, or all women vocalists, you know, maybe not the music's all played by women, but women songwriters, women singers. You know, do one for the ladies. It was just a fantastic show, really. Those guys are so on fire now. The 3-guitar attack is really adding Benji Shanks on third guitar has really added a whole new dimension for them. But he plays more than guitar. You know, he plays like a lot of the mandolin and acoustic stuff. He'll play dobro. He plays slide on all kinds of stuff. In the way that they kind of approach layering the guitars live, it's almost cooler than what they do on the record, I think, because, you know, in the record, people are used to hearing guitars kind of come in and out or whatever, but the way that they do it live, like that band's something special right now. So if you get a chance to go see Blackberry Smoke, do it. Get a chance to go see the Steepwater Band, do it. I know they're playing with Mark Ford, in August in Chicago. Planning on making the trek for at least the Chicago show, and I think Steepwater Band has a show the next night in the Chicagoland area. I know they're playing another show with Ford in Wisconsin the next week, but unfortunately I'm going to have to probably go to Chicago and just do the one Ford show and then the one Steepwater show and then come back home. But I'll be jazzed to pull that off, because it's been a while since I've done anything like that and done a few nights in a row, especially somewhere as cool as Chicago where I used to live. So definitely just super excited to have live music back in my life. It's probably one step closer to me maybe playing live music again soon. Ish. Not like real soon, but kind of soon. Yeah, I don't want to get too carried away with things. I've had a lot going on. My grandmother passed away yesterday. Today is June 20th, so she passed away June 19th. I went up there and saw her on June 18th. So the Blackberry Smoke show would have been June 17th. A lot's happened in a very short period, that's for sure. But she was in her 90s and she lived a very, very full life. And she did the best. I'm going to break in right here real quick and correct myself. My grandmother did better than the best that she could do. She did a great fucking job raising 10 kids in the time that she did it, in a time where it wasn't so easy to just leave someone who was abusive, and it wasn't so easy for people to get help. It wasn't so easy to be a single mother. Everything in life that she had to endure, and she did it all with grace and dignity and consistency. And that's something that I strive for. And I want to think that a big part of that obviously had to have come from her, because it sure as fuck didn't come from my parents, not as far as consistency and grace and dignity, any of that. So I just wanted to remember my grandmother a little bit, kind of share that. I'm going to go see the Molly Healy String Project at the Dive Bar, I think, on the 23rd. So I'm really looking forward to that. I love her new album, Lotus. It is just phenomenal. And I was listening to it with my friend Stephanie, and she's like, wow, what is this? And I'm like, man, these are my friends, you know? And I just love it so much when my friends make these killer records that I'm jazzed about. So definitely looking forward to going to see Molly Healy. Okay. So, part 3. We left off after those recordings. The last recording was February 6th, 2023. And she wanted me to take Facebook posts down. And the Facebook posts that she wanted me to take down, she was most adamant. She had pretended to be Taryn Brindley and set up a fake email account and gave herself her own glowing references to the state of Missouri to get her job in Peculiar. And I did take it down as she asked, but not before somebody who worked at Cedar Ridge Elementary screenshotted that and then showed Taryn Brindley the screenshot, or sent it to her, whatever. I don't know how that part went down. But within a week, the person who accuses me of abuse and such terrible things got fired for being a provable liar. And that's when all hell broke loose. She filed for an ex parte on me in Cass County, saying that I was continuously stalking her and abusing her, which is not true. But she did this to weave a narrative that I was casting lies about her, that I was saying things that weren't true, even though she wouldn't have been fired if it wasn't true, because they went and verified that that's exactly what happened, that Taryn never gave those references. Fact.
When you tried to get me fired after calling Taryn was so fucking cute, it has never backfired in your face. Anything like that nothing has ever backfired in your face like that. I have been living off of that joy ever since, Jeremy.
So, this person that accused me of so much went and filed this ex parte. I filed one here in Boone County because, honestly, I've never been a threat to her. And she's a provable threat to me after hitting my neighbor's car and after threatening me with retaliation by turning me in for repeated contact and all this coercion and just all the shit and sending people to my house and sending people after me on Facebook and just all kinds of everything that went on. Like, surely I can get an ex parte against her if she can get one against me, right? And so we went to court in Cass County. The judge looked at everything and was like, holy shit, we're going to set this out to, I think it was March 31st.
And I was like, yeah, of course. And I was like, fuck, I gotta go back to Cass County again. I was so tired of driving back up there. On March 6th, we went to court in Boone County for my ex parte that I filed on her. Went in front of Judge Gonzalez, and Judge Gonzalez looked at it and was like, well, here, what is this all about? And I was like, well, she can't go hiding behind her ex partes. That's not fair. I said, I can't afford to keep bonding out on all these warrants. I said, because if I'm such a threat to her, then she doesn't need to contact me for anything. You know, if she's not going to pay me the money she owes me, and I'm going to keep getting all these warrants and stuff, having to bond out, then it's almost like she walks up and slaps the hornet's nest and then runs behind all these ex partes. And the judge looked at me in her eyes and she goes, you have a criminal charge? And I said, ma'am. I said, ma'am, you signed the warrant for my arrest less than a month ago. So I had that warrant out in February and I had to go bond out. So I went and turned myself in. My attorney met me there. We just went. I paid the money. The bondsman came, bonded out. $1,000. Things were so tense and I was so agitated at that point, and just so my anxiety level was so huge that I was not being rational in some ways. Let's just throw that out there. Again, caught up in the rectitude. And my attorney and we had to come to a parting of ways, not for any reason other than it was affecting our friendship. And that's kind of the problem when you have your friends representing you in a court of law. Because sometimes things get said, things get heated, and like your attorney knows, like he's not going to take it personally, but your friends might take some shit personally. And we were kind of getting to that point where, you know, things could just, we needed to change a tactic. Like everything I needed to change, and he was more than happy. So I hired another awesome attorney, which is more money. And then we went to court on March 6th. Judge Gonzalez looked at me and goes, do you have a criminal charge? I said, ma'am, you're the presiding judge in our case. You're the one who signed my warrant less than a month ago. I was incredulous because, fuck, man, I figured she knew who I was. She didn't have a clue. And then her eyes narrowed and she goes, I thought your name looked familiar. And my eyes met hers and we locked in. I thought she saw me and I thought she heard me. She didn't. I wasn't being seen, wasn't being heard, but she recused herself. Said, come back March 22nd, 9 a.m. Well, I thought that meant come back to Judge Gonzalez's courtroom, March 22nd, 9 a.m. So I had to come back March 13th because of my probation violation. And we were all fine about that. We set it out to May. She was real accommodating because of school and finals and all that stuff at that time. She was my buddy. She thought and acting like it was all going to be... I thought it was all going to be handled and taken care of. I was delusional. Just absolute fucking delusional. Because it really seemed like it. It really seemed like everything was under control, and it was until March 22nd. And I got there, and I went into Judge Gonzalez's courtroom, and I'm in there for no more than 5 minutes. I mean, really, it was not long at all. Because I realized everybody in there was in stripes. These were all state cases. This isn't fucking ex parte court at all. And I walked out in the hallway, and everybody was standing outside Judge Jackson Williams' courtroom. And there was like a case involving a minor, so everybody had to be outside the courtroom. And then afterwards we went in, I signed in, sat there and waited through the whole docket. It's like, what's your name? Was it Jeremy Hunsaker? They're like, oh, we just missed your case. We called it first. What? Oh, I was fucking incensed. I was fit to be tied. And I didn't endear myself to the judge with my behavior. Let's just put it like that. I just couldn't believe. And it really went south when Ben Faber, her attorney, came in, and I snapped off on him some fucking hard. I told him exactly what I thought of him and how he was handling the situation. Kind of bullshit it was. Got kicked out of the courtroom, so I went down to the clerk's office to refile, and things even got worse. They weren't being very helpful. They weren't giving me my discovery, which was my right, as I was acting in pro se in the actual ex parte case. I had every right to my discovery that I filed. All the paperwork, all the supporting evidence. I took all the paperwork and I threw it up in the air. I said, well, fuck it. I'm not going to get any help and I'm not going to get any protection. I may as well take everything I own, sell it. She owes me so much money and she's going to bleed me out with all these court costs and these warrants and these bonds and attorney fees. I may as well take everything I own, sell it all, give it to my daughter, and be the threat, and be the abuser that she claims I am and wants to make me out to be, do the world a fucking favor so I can get some peace. And that was misconstrued, because I said, if I may as well. Those modifiers weren't heard. They just heard the last part. That was all they needed. That was all she needed. That's all any of them needed. I gave them all the fucking ammunition in the world, but I fucking had it. I just was fucking beside myself. I was incensed and at my absolute breaking point. But I'm not making any excuses for my behavior. Check it out. I have CPTSD, right? That doesn't give me the right to behave like that. So many people want to be like, oh, I have anxiety, or I have CPTSD, I have XYZ, I have borderline personality disorder, I have whatever it is. So I'm not responsible for my behavior. Yeah, well, guess what? I'm absolutely responsible for my behavior. And I'd also like to point out that by her going to the domestic violence shelter and filing the ex parte and claiming that I was stalking her and all this, she was able to get out of her lease with no repercussions. All her bills she can get out of, don't have to pay. Moved to a shelter, had gas money and food provided for her and her son. Was able to just have babysitters for him so she could go out and go to shows and pretend to be a photographer, and the camera that I bought her. So she benefited from that because, remember, she got fucking fired. She didn't have a job. So it was pretty fucking convenient for her, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, well, guess what? I'm absolutely responsible for my behavior, and I screwed up. But again, felt like I was not being heard. And I really wanted to see if they heard that. And they did. They heard the last part, for sure. So I called my attorney and told her, I might have messed up. Yeah, we've already got a motion for your warrant, for another warrant. That's great. Well, nothing I can do about that right now. I've got to go to work. Got school. So that's what I did for 8 days. It's March 22nd. Went to school, went to work, did my homework, went rock climbing. Lived my life. Didn't give it any energy whatsoever. Until about, it was 5:30. 5:30 on March 30th. I was sitting down, been doing some homework, was getting ready to start dinner. I heard them outside. I knew. Right then, shit, they're here. Cops are here. Right about then, I hear the knock on the old screen door, and my neighbor across the street starts calling me. I'm like, hey man, tell him I'm out of town. Tell him I'm not here. Poo, 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 and I could hear him pounding on the door. And he goes, nah man, they got 12 cops out here with guns drawn, shotguns and shit, dogs, canines. They were going to kick my door in. I thought they were going to kick my door in and kill my dogs. So self-preservation for my dogs is what it was. It wasn't for me. I didn't think I was in any real danger. Little did I know. So I yelled through the door. I said, hold on, I'm going to put my dogs up. Bird Dog and Lola were going fucking nuts. And so I grabbed a half a blunt that I had in the ashtray and I fired it up. And I grabbed a handful of Klonopin, tossed them back, grabbed a bottle of water, put Lola in her crate, grabbed my wallet, my keys, my phone, and stepped out the back door. When my neighbor and we watched the footage, we got the redacted footage it was the redacted footage. We're still trying to get the unredacted footage, but Boone County's being dicks about it. I wonder why. We watched the backdoor footage first, and he's like, oh, look at you, straight thug. I got the blunt hanging out my mouth as they cuff me up and shit. And then we watched the front door footage, and that fucking Boone County deputy who was smiling as he took his sniper rifle and set up behind my tree in the front yard, pointed at my front door. Sergeant at the front door turns, tells him, yeah, he's got lethal, which means they can go ahead and kill me whenever, if that's what it takes to bring me in. So they weren't just going to kick my door in and shoot my dogs. They were going to kick my door in and shoot me and my dogs over a misdemeanor probation violation. A B misdemeanor probation violation on a peace disturbance. Where They claim I threatened to kill somebody, but if you take the whole statement into context, it becomes apparent that that is not what I want to do, but that I'm absolutely, totally fucking frustrated out of my gourd at the lack of capability and accountability by Boone County's Justice Department and the lack of help for men who are victims of abuse, of domestic abuse. It just doesn't exist at all. And it happens so much. We're going to have more men on here. There are men in my friend circle. I didn't have to look far to realize that I'm not special, that this is standard operating procedure for them. So they cuff me up, take me to jail. As they're booking me in, I'm starting to slur a little bit from the Klonopin that I'd taken because, hey, let's just be real. I just want to sleep. I know I'm not getting out for a while because I have a no bond warrant this time because apparently they know I keep bonding out. They're like, nope. So I'm slurring my words. They're like, oh, you need to see medical. Well, medical costs $40 the first time you see him when you're in Boone County Jail. $40. Now, it also costs money to transport somebody to the hospital. So she decided I had overdosed and I needed to go to the hospital. So they took me to the fucking emergency room, chained me to the goddamn emergency room bed, hooked an IV up to me, just flushed the shit out, and like, I was fine. You know how many Klonopin you have to take to fucking overdose? Like 50. Like more than I had. More than I would ever take. I took like 5. And yes, I was a little slurry. I don't take them very often. They're for anxiety. I was pretty fucking anxious about going to jail for God knows how long. Now, I get back, and I got an attitude with them because my Klonopins wore off. And I don't want to be there. And they're violating my rights already. And I'm fucking $100 and some deep on this trip, and I don't want to be there. And so he's like, well, blah, 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 and asking me these questions. And do you want to hurt yourself or someone else? And I looked at him and said, fuck you. The fuck kind of question is that to ask somebody in here? Look around in this motherfucking place. You think I want to fucking be here? Fuck yes, I want to hurt myself. I fucking don't want to be here. I'd rather fucking die than be here. Well, apparently that is suicidal talk. And so they grabbed me and made me strip out of my fucking clothes and put this goddamn thing on me and strapped me in the chair. So I started spitting at the fucking wall. I was spitting at the window, the booking room window. I spit all over it. Fucking called them cocksuckers. I'm laying there with my fucking cock and balls hanging out for everybody to see. I'm like, eat my ass, you motherfuckers. Oh, I was so mad. And eventually, I'm just fucking sitting there. They pulled me out of the chair and they threw me in the isolation room. I still had the bandage on my arm from where they had the IV in. And so I took the medical tape off, and I started tying my hair back with it. Well, apparently they thought that I was going to fucking hang myself with fucking medical tape. So lights come on, doors open, 4 fucking cops come running in. They're like, get down, get on your knees, get on your knees. Like, the fuck? And I got on my knees, and they tackled me, and I smacked my head on the fucking, whatever the bed fucking thing is that they have there. It's just a big hunk of concrete. Come on, man. It was fucking so unnecessary and so ridiculous and so overblown. And, so I just wouldn't eat at all. I wouldn't, not like hunger strike, but hey, I'm gluten free, and I try to eat like all organic and non-GMO and shit. And they're trying to serve me bologna sandwiches. I don't eat bread because I can't, and I don't eat bologna because it's bologna. So, like, no, I'm not eating this shit. And after like 3 days, the sergeant comes back and he's like, hey, man, I got to get you to eat something so that medical will clear you to go back into a pod. I'm like, well, you need to serve me something I can fucking eat. He goes, like celery? And I'll go, well, celery has no nutritional content. Like, what's the fucking point, dude? Will that work? He goes, oh, yeah. He goes, will you eat celery if I bring it to you? I said, yeah, bring me some celery. He brought me celery. I took it right in front of him. Big bite. So I got to go back in the pod. I'm back there for like another day or two. And then it's really different now in jail. It was always profit driven, you know. But now with the internet and with digital currency, fuck, it's on. They're making money hand over fist in there. You got this kiosk that's like the center of everything. It's the hub. People receive money on it. You can get video calls on it. Check out tablets. You can get your commissary. You can do all kinds of shit on it. You send your grievances or just whatever. You can get emails on it. They're 50 cents a piece. The video calls are like $5. Commissary, of course, ramen noodles like $1.50 for a fucking 25-cent packet fucking bullshit. On these tablets that you rent, you can get these gold passes, and they're 99 cents for an hour. And you watch like documentaries and listen to music, and if you're in there, I guess it's a good way to spend time. Some people would get a gold pass and they'd listen to music for 10 minutes and be like, hey, you want to check out the gold pass? And I was like, yeah, but I never bought one myself because I wouldn't allow anybody to put any money on my books. So I was not going to spend any money in there on principle. I'm a very principled person. There was no way they were getting a fucking dime. I mean, my internet costs $30 a month. Hell, they'd allow you to spend $30 a month on phone calls and Zuzus and Wham Whams. Fuck you. They wouldn't accommodate my gluten-free diet. The nurse goes, oh, honey, don't you have anybody on the outside who will put money on your books so you can buy some food from commissary? I don't have anything really gluten-free on there. Oatmeal, you know, which would be fine. People gave me their oatmeal, the plain ones, which is all I wanted. Fuck it. So I lived on oatmeal and fruit. Everybody's fruit. They give me fruit. Their peas and carrots. It's like fucking Forrest Gump. Me and Jenny was just like peas and carrots. But people were spending $60 a week on that commissary. 30 on commissary and 30 on phone calls. I'm laying there in like day 4 or 5 and literally laying on my bunk. And I hear, Hunsaker, you got an email. I'm like, what? Who the fuck sent me an email in here? So I leapt out of my bunk, run over there, and it was my neighbor, Kendall, who was on our Changing Society's Perceptions of Drugs and Addiction podcast. The one that kind of started all this in a way. He was letting me know that my friend Jaguar was taking care of the dogs and that everything was cool. And he gave me his phone number. He said he'd put some money on my books for phone calls. And when I called him and he asked me if I wanted him to put money on my books for like commissary and shit, and I was like, no. But like we talked and like we were friends or whatever, we were friendly, but just in our phone conversations and there, our relationship grew. Like I was like, man, this guy's awesome. And I'm going to get him on here to tell his story before long. He's still kind of going through it, but aren't we all? So that kind of put me at ease because the first few days I was just imagining Lola stuck in the crate, the dogs wondering where I was and having no one, like it was breaking my heart. I didn't even care about me. Like school and missing court dates and fucking bullshit. I didn't even care about, you know. But so many people stepped up for me while I was in there. And Kendall coordinated my MU care team with my professors and my attorney, and everybody wrote letters, and it was all like absolutely coordinated, and the logistics were put together. And I can't thank him enough, but I can't thank everyone enough who had my back, and the people who wanted to and who didn't know how to but were like, hey man, I'm sorry, or whatever. All the people who even wanted to and didn't know how, or the people who stood by me who were worried, you know. And there was just so many who they were like, we were worried about the dogs, and appreciate every single one of them, man. Every single one of you guys for having my back through that. My relationships with a lot of people really strengthened through that. My accountability to them strengthened. My levels of accountability have strengthened because of that. My body was in such bad shape from laying on the bunk and not having any food, not having any protein, any iron, really. You know, all the vegetables were canned. Nothing was fresh. And as soon as I got out, I just threw myself into my homework and getting caught up. I didn't realize I had an email from the provost, the University of Missouri, for academic fraud and dishonesty. Apparently, this person who says I'm such a threat and such a danger to her and won't leave her alone turned me in for academic dishonesty, claiming that she did a variety of assignments for a multitude of classes over a period of time. It just isn't true, okay? It's not. It's one paper. And she's full of fucking shit, as usual. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I go to my doctor to get my prescription refill, and there's like a bunch of shit, but I also needed my anxiety medication. And they don't want to write it. One, because of the quote-unquote questionable suicide attempt when I had to go to the ER when I was in jail. And then two, because the person who claims I abused her and won't leave her alone called my fucking doctor and said that I was selling my prescription when I don't even get it fucking enough for what I need. So I made a post about her on Facebook, put some stuff up. Well, a quote-unquote mutual friend that I now suspect is actually her, pretending to be someone else, or talking directly to them while they type, one or the other, gets hold of me, hey man, she'll pay you the $500 that she owes you on the month, because she's supposed to be paying me $500 a month and hasn't for some time. He's like, well, she'll pay you if you take those down. She'll give you $250 now, and then $250 when they're down. I'm like, all right, send the $250. And there's this long, drawn-out shit where I'm just like, shut the fuck up and send the $250. I don't care what you think. Just tell her to send the fucking money. I don't care. I'm not going to talk about this. Send the fucking money. Send me my fucking money. My money. I want my fucking money. Eventually, I get a Venmo for $250. So I take the shit down. I get another one for $250. All right. Thank you. Fuck you very much. Guys, have a good night. Give me more money next month. Bye. Apparently, I didn't show enough gratitude to somebody who I'm not supposed to have any fucking contact with anyway. And so she decided that she would just dispute the transaction. Even though in the note she says, there's $250, take that down and you get the other $250. And then she sent the other $250. She disputed the transaction and her bank took it back. Sent all my shit in the negative. I'm like, So, that's where we're fucking at with it. We've got a court system that won't do shit. That I can prove, one, per the Boone County Joint Communication Call Log, the police were there when she says I attacked her on July 21st. They were fucking there at 6:30 on July 21st when she says I attacked her. And then they came back. If she had any fucking marks on her that day, they would have taken me right fucking then. All right? That's just how it works. And then, 2 days later, she just said, you put all the money, blah, blah, blah. Come on, what the fuck is that shit? And I can prove that's bullshit too. Listen to those recordings. Oh my God. Those recordings. So much. And those are just 3 of them. She's caused me so much distress in my life that I still have to deal with, financial and otherwise. And people think this is all about the money and get my shit back. Nah, my daughter has a big part in it too. What she did and how she's affected that relationship, I'm not okay with. My daughter is going to be 15 years old. We call her Ricky. Ricky Ticky Tabby. She can self-identify however she wants. She's a boy mongoose. That's what she's about. She's about that boy mongoose life. Now, her mother and I split up when she was very young. We had a very volatile relationship. We did not know each other very well when she got pregnant. We idealized each other. I see now how codependent I was. I see how her borderline personality disorder affected her judgment. It's very similar traits, both the women I married. And she manipulated me into allowing her to go to Michigan without raising a stink. You know, we're working things out. We'll work it out. I need to be around my family. And on the 90th day for her to establish residency, she goes, yeah, we're not working anything out. Never mind. 90th day to the day. And she got a child support order out of Missouri in 2009. 2010, she got a default divorce in Michigan by claiming that I had abandoned them when she had a child support order that I was paying on. So she obviously knew where the fuck to find me to get her money. And yet she couldn't find me to serve me with the divorce papers. And so she got full custody of our daughter and moved to New York. Lied to me to pull that off. I can prove that as well. Doesn't matter because nobody will do anything about that either. I haven't seen my daughter in 6 years now. I had reestablished contact with her following the pandemic. And then all of a sudden, contact ceased. In early December of 2021, the same day that the person who claims that I'm a threat actually threatened to call a friend of mine's work and try and get her fired and just all kinds of, it was just crazy shit. The same day, she reached out to my ex-wife and told her all kinds of crazy sensational shit, the same shit she tells everyone else about me. Well, my daughter's mom tells my daughter this shit, lets her read the emails, and starts hammering me about how I'm never going to see my daughter again and how I abused this person and I'm a piece of shit. So I just sent her some of the emails and the texts and the recordings and I'm like, this is what this person's really like. This is the truth. She's like, oh my God, Jeremy, I'm sorry. I can't believe it, blah, blah, blah. I don't give a fuck. I just want to talk to my daughter. Well, I want to wait. Let me talk to her because I might have let her read the emails and told her. And I'm like, you did what? Yeah, I told her that you abused this person and choked her and beat her and all this fucking shit. I'm like, well, how do we fix this? Well, we're just going to have to tell her the truth. Oh, we're not going to tell my who is then 13-year-old daughter that I put marks on this woman's throat during sex, during consensual sex. She's like, well, do you want her thinking that you did it viciously attacking her? Fuck my life. So I could reestablish contact again with my daughter and like it build the relationship and it she seemed to like making me uncomfortable and like saying sexually explicit things to me, thinking that it was funny. And her mom made excuses for it because, well, this is her way of getting to know you and she's uncomfortable with you and blah, blah, blah. And like all these excuses. So I'm sitting here one day and I get a text from my daughter's mother's phone. Your daughter wants to know what 69ing is. And I told her that you'd tell her. What? Oh yeah, that'd be a good way for you guys to get to know each other. And so I get a text from my daughter. Well, I'm waiting. Are you stoned? She says. I'm like, fuck my life. No. I mean, yes, but look, give me a minute with this, all right? What, you don't know what it is? And I'm like, man, what the fuck? Dude, yeah, it's the cancer sign. You're a Cancer, right? I know what the Cancer sign is. You could just say it's where they suck each other's dicks and holes. And I just want you to know that I was pranking you. That was me from my mom's phone. So I sent screenshots to my daughter's mother. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And it caused a little bit of an issue. And then there's also the issue that my daughter's mom is getting divorced. And I'd offered to let them move in to my place. Everybody would have their own bedroom. They wouldn't have to pay any rent. Fucking alleviate my child support quite significantly. It's a lot cheaper here. She needs her dad in her life, obviously. And that was met outright with derision and absolute refusal to even consider. Our life's in New York. I would rather live in public housing than move back there. Okay, then. So between my daughter's disrespect and her mom's just blatant... Let me tell you about this. My daughter is quote-unquote homeschooled, and she doesn't go to school very much. One day a week, maybe. Doesn't do math. Says she doesn't have to do anything. From all accounts, this is fairly accurate. Her mom, no job, doesn't go to school. She told me that she and her husband have never consummated their marriage. They've only had sex maybe 3 or 4 times because she's not attracted to him. She's not in love with him. The only reason why she stays there is because of the financial support and a place to live. And the only reason he lets him is because my daughter's there. So, number one, the reason why my daughter can't come see me is because my ex-wife would be out on her fucking ass. Number two, my daughter's mom is teaching her that it's okay to just mooch off of men. And that's how you get through life. Because she expects her husband to keep paying for things. And every time we get into it, okay, well, we're working it out. We're not getting divorced. And the reality is she plays us off of each other. She always has. She tells him the same shit about me that she tells me about him. And it's all just a bunch of manipulative bullshit. And that's all my daughter's learning. So... flash forward to November 22, sitting here with a friend, me and her watching football. Get a phone call from a Geneva phone number. My daughter lives in Geneva, New York, so I answered the phone call. And it was my daughter prank calling me, saying, "Hey, bitch, you got any condoms?" Like I wouldn't know my daughter's voice. So I just closed the phone. I told my friend, because she was like, "Who's that?" I'm like, "It's nothing." I just put my phone under the couch cushion. Well, it was my daughter and her friend, and they were blowing my phone up, apparently, while I wasn't paying attention. And there were some more messages. I didn't even get to them until the following Sunday, and that was like Friday after Thanksgiving. And then Sunday, I got the next message, which was her friend saying, "Yo, nigga, sorry I fucked your wife." I still have that one on my phone. And so, again, I send an email to my daughter's mom. "What's this? What is this shit?" Well, she would never do anything like that. I don't know why you think that it was her. Like, because I know my daughter's voice. Why are you questioning me? It was her. Look at this phone number. Whose phone number is this? Well, hold on. Well, she said she gave your number to her friend to prank, but that she didn't do it and she would never do anything like that and has never done anything like that. No, it was her, and she has done something like this when she pretended to be you and texted me about the 69. What the fuck you mean she's never done anything like this before? Quit making excuses. And it just snowballed from there to the point where I was like, hey, guess what? I am not going to pay child support anymore because the state of Missouri was not enforcing my child support order due to the shit show that had went down in 2014. Me trying to, again, jar this shit loose and shine a light on all this and at least be a part of my daughter's life with a real parenting plan instead of being at the mercy of a narcissist who is being protected by 3 states and violating federal laws, and nothing happens. So I told her to quit paying child support, and I filed a motion in New York. They denied it, or they wouldn't enforce any orders, any standing orders out of Michigan, and both orders were out of Michigan. So I filed in Michigan, and I got both orders on the same judge's desk. And she's this judge who got arrested for DUI while she was running for judge and still won. And she had both orders, and it was obvious that my ex-wife had lied to get the divorce in that court. And they didn't care. They weren't going to do anything about it. They weren't changing anything. And that's that. And I was stuck with that shitty fucking deal. No parenting time, no nothing. No order. And so I had to go refile in New York. Oh, I had called that phone number back one night. I was, see who this is. Called, blew it up. It's like 1 a.m. Then I get a text. Hey, sorry, we had the wrong number. I'm like, nah, I already know what happened. My daughter admitted what happened. So you need to get your parents now. And I blew that phone up. And then the next day, my ex-wife, you scared the crap out of them. They thought that you were going to show up in the middle of the night. Well, where was the rational adult to show them on MapQuest that it's 17 hours from my house to your front door? And that they could go to sleep, get up, and do everything they needed to do the next day, and I still wouldn't possibly logistically be able to get there in time. So shut up and go to sleep. Where is the rational adult here who isn't feeding into the fear of the children? What? Oh, you mean you're the one cultivating it? Yeah, I got you. Well, Samantha's parents were going to call the police. I'm like, oh, funny that. I asked for them directly. I said, go get your parents, and nobody wanted to talk to me about why their 13-year-old suicidal daughter is leaving explicit texts on the answering machine of a 43-year-old man that they don't even know, that she doesn't even, what part of that is okay? What part of any of that is fucking okay that you can justify any of this behavior? You're threatening me. I'm not going to contact you anymore. And she cut off all contact and filed an ex parte on me, which got denied because I'm not a threat. Again, not a threat. I'm just trying to hold people accountable. And these are people who have never had a dad in their life. And that's my job as her dad. And it's my fault for being asleep at the wheel for so fucking long. That's the only real mistake I made, was I thought I was so toxic and that there was something wrong with me, and so she was better off without me in her life, and I was fucking wrong. I made a mistake, and the only thing I can do about that going forward is to not make that mistake anymore. She's never had a dad in her life, and neither has her mom. And they've never had anyone hold them accountable, truly accountable. And so that's what I was doing. And my therapist asked me, how do you feel about daughter not having contact with you? I'm like, shh, that's her choice. Not like that makes it okay, but I mean, and the phone's always open. She has my number. Call me anytime. But I'm not going to try and force something when she doesn't want it. But the fact is that all this has been done because I'm a man. I didn't do what I was accused of in July of 2021. And I'm not a deadbeat dad by choice. We have a system that is corrupt and does not hear the voices of men. And this court system, family court, criminal court, they're all corrupt and they're all biased against men. What I've experienced over these past few years, over the past 15 years, where are my rights as a parent? Where are my rights as someone who has been abused, as someone who has been wrongfully accused and then forced into taking a plea deal to get the fuck out of jail because they weren't going to give me a bond, which was unconstitutional? How many of my rights have been violated? From July of 2021, when the cops came in to arrest me without a warrant and they took my anxiety medication and won't give it back, even though I've proven I have a prescription. And then me having to take a plea deal in March of 22, whenever I straight up told them that I shouldn't take the deal because she won't leave me alone for 2 years. Said it straight up. That doesn't matter. They just want to close the case. The motherfucking prosecutor, Komorowski, shouldn't even have filed the charges. If he looked at evidence and gave a shit about what really happened and wasn't prejudiced, didn't have an agenda, they wouldn't even have filed those charges. But both times, I was in a situation where Hey, man, if they wanted to find me fucking guilty in court, they would. They want to send the cops here to my house, SWAT team. They want to send the fucking SWAT team to my house with lethal, straight up. It's on the recording. They want to kill me over it? When I didn't do what I was accused of? When I've not been a bad father? I was just kind of lost as a person. But I love my daughter. And I'm absolutely beside myself that this is the result of all this. The money I've lost and the material things that I don't have in my life as a result of this pale in comparison to the chaos that has caused me and my family and to my daughter. And that's so fucking unacceptable. And people wonder why I'm so hell-bent on holding this fucking bitch accountable for what she's done and for holding the courts accountable. Shit. Hey, fucking with my relationship with my daughter, it crossed a whole new line. And I don't hate anybody. I don't have hate in my heart. But goddamn, it's hard not to hate some people for their actions and for their lack of accountability. I blame myself for a lot of things. I blame myself for the things that are my fault. But what I'm doing is trying to rectify that. And it's not redemption that I'm looking for. But other people aren't trying to rectify what they've done wrong. They won't admit they've even made mistakes. And I can't do anything about that. That's not my cross to bear. But I miss my daughter. And I'm not the only one. There are other men who have been completely shunned by the system. And like I said, they're going to come on the podcast and we're going to go from there. I've got my neighbor going to come on and tell his story. I've got badass musician from Jeff City who's going to tell his story, hopefully. I've got a couple of guys that I just didn't even realize, but holy shit. And then when I talked to him, yeah, that's what's up. And then there's another who me and him have known the whole fucking time. We're like, yep. And I even asked him, like, how is it that they can get away with this? Because I was still naive. And he goes, well, technically it is illegal for them to be talking shit about us, calling my landlord and contacting my family members and contacting my place of employment and basically stalking me and cyber stalking me and posting lies about me. Bald-faced, outright provable lies. Yeah, that is illegal. But try getting anybody to fucking enforce it. Now, if it was a guy doing it to a girl, he'd go to fucking jail. Okay, the double standard is stunning. I mean, I had marks on me. Fucking bite marks. I fucking posted pictures. And then those recordings. Fuck, the DA has those recordings. It's a recording of her what? Admitting to obstruction at least twice. Admitting she transferred prescription drugs. Admitting that she was in my driveway after the neighbor's car got hit. She admitted that I never abused her. She admitted that she only called the police because I called her a whore. You know, between that and the fraud that she, you know, there's fucking 5 or 6 felonies right there. Coercion, trying to get me to change my statement. She gets away with it all. Because she's a woman. If I would have done all that fucking shit. Bye-bye. Prison. So whenever you see 2 Columbia police officers beating the shit out of some guy on the fucking sidewalk for not paying his tab, don't get mad at the cops doing it. They're just doing what they're fucking told to do. This shit starts at the top. You vote these people in and they stay in. They fucking stay there. They take our tax dollars and they live good. They live fat. They go on vacations and they just don't show up at work. You know, I was in jail for 2 weeks ostensibly because my judge never fucking showed up. I went to court twice. Never saw her. Third time, it was a different judge. So I just had to take a deal and close the case so I could get the fuck out of jail and get back to school before finals. Facts. Still got her paycheck, though. We still paid the fuck out of that. Got a bunch of money. So did Komorowski. They all drive nice new cars. Go on vacations. Eat good. Live in fat houses. On our dime, and don't do shit for it. They don't do a fucking thing for it. They don't look at evidence. They don't care what actually happened. They don't enforce justice. They don't protect. They don't serve. They don't do a fucking thing but sit on their stupid fucking worthless asses. I've seen it. Know your enemy indeed. When the police show up to somebody's house with a SWAT team and kick their fucking door in and kill their dogs and kill people, hey, Penny Hutchinson, ask her what the fuck happened to her husband. For real. Cops showed up, SWAT team, kicked the fucking door in, killed their dogs. They're in the bedroom. He don't know what the fuck's going on. He grabs a gun. They fucking killed him in front of their daughter. Over weed. Over fucking weed. And they did that because they had orders for lethal. That means it comes from the top. That means it was okayed. And so whenever people make an uproar and they're like, that cop's got to get fired, that cop needs to lose his job, they gladly fucking just go ahead and throw him to the wolves. They're like, here you go, here's a bunch of money. Go live the rest of your life. They give him a big fat severance package and he gets like fucking retirement that nobody even talks about. Because he was following orders. Because he did what he's told to do. This shit starts at the top. And we pay for it. We pay them. They're supposed to be working for us. We're supposedly giving them this power because they're supposed to be impartial and they're supposed to be good at their jobs and they're supposed to temper justice with mercy. But in order to do that, you got to be fucking aware of what's actually going on or give a shit or not have an agenda and not turn a blind eye. I don't know if it's incompetence or if it's fucking negligence or if it's downright malfeasance. But I don't really care. I just want to point out real quick that if any one of us were as terrible at our jobs or didn't do our fucking jobs that way, we would get fucking fired. Editor's note. All it amounts to is that they don't do their fucking jobs. Why doesn't the media say anything about this? Why hasn't anybody taken this story? Who hasn't given this to somebody at the Columbia Tribune or the Missourian or sent it to somebody in Jeff City? Or somebody in Washington. Why? Because none of them fucking care. Because they're all working together. Otherwise, they would. Otherwise, somebody would do something about this. It wouldn't have gotten this far. It wouldn't even have happened to me. It would have stopped long before it got to me. I'm going to show what Boone County is really all about. But it's not just Boone County. It's happening everywhere. It's happening all over. And we can't be equal until we're actually equal. People have wanted equality and women want equality, and this is not how to get it. This is not equal. This is not what we wanted. But they're so afraid. They're so afraid that women won't come forward if they actually prosecute women who lie. What kind of world is this? You think it's okay because I look white, I'm half white, and I'm a cisgender male? That I need to pay some penance for being the bastion of all suffering in the world? What the fuck kind of bullshit is that? Martin Luther King Jr. said, we're not free until we're all free. And so we're not equal until we're all equal. And this is not equality. And I don't know what can be done, but this is the only voice I have right now. So I'm utilizing it. And I'm calling them out. And I'm going to let other people come on and call them out too. This has been part 3, and I don't have any enemies. But some have made themselves enemies to me. Those in the Boone County justice system. Ben Favor. Those guys. Those people. Komorowski. Like, why? Why wouldn't you look at the evidence before filing a charge? That is your job. That's what you are supposed to do. That's the bare essential part of it. They're not even looking at evidence. They're just filing charges. So that people will close the case, take a deal and close the case. And I told them, I don't want to take a deal. She won't leave me alone for 2 years. And I was right. I had no idea that these podcasts would go out to so many people and so many people would play them and reach out. And I went out to the Led Zeppelin tribute concert the weekend after Dead and Company. When I got home, there was a box of, some of it was my stuff sitting on my front porch. Wasn't much. There was like the Rolling Stones 50th anniversary t-shirt that we discussed in those recordings. That was in there. And some other t-shirts from where I work, which means I can get those anytime, but whatever. And then there was a bunch of random shit that wasn't mine. Flashlights, a t-shirt that definitely wasn't mine. Must have been with one of the guys after me or whatever. But somebody, while I was at the show, called and let her know that I was there. I have a pretty good idea who it was because that person saw me as I walked in. And when I went to bring some stuff out to my car, I saw them standing out there on the corner on their phone. So, like, maybe I'm paranoid, but that don't mean they ain't after me. And, well, it was coordinated. And I don't know if it was her or she had somebody drop them off at my house. But it's like, where's the real shit? Thanks for the Stone shirt. Where's my fucking mini fridge? Where's my Super Sessions record? Where's my bass drum pedal? My Grateful Dead box set? All my shoes? Doesn't fucking matter. It's just laughable. Predators hide out in the open. It's how they do what they do. They're protected. And this one's protected as well. I need to find out where she works so I can have her wages garnished, but I don't want to ask anybody, and I don't want to do any of the detective work. I don't want it to seem like I'm trying to find her. So if anybody wants to contact my attorney with that information, I'd appreciate that greatly, because she owes me a lot of fucking money, and I'm going to garnish her wages, and I'm going to have to sue her in civil court. And that's just what it is. But I also go to school full time, and I work. And I'm trying to get back in my daughter's life. And I would love to be able to play music again. And I go to yoga when I can now. And I have 2 dogs. And my grandmother just died. So I have a funeral I have to go to. So all this is just, stuff that I don't want to have to deal with. I'm tired of giving it energy. But that's what vampires do. They just vamp energy. And that is the goal here from that person. And it always has been. Why the courts allow this to be perpetuated, I don't know. What can we do about it? What can be done? Do you only care about being an activist whenever it's women or other minorities? I'm not a bad person. Just had a lot of bad shit happen to me. I was pretty fucking lost for a long time. I might have lost my head for a minute, but I never lost my fucking heart. Anybody that knows me knows that. I'm not that person. Why do we have a court system that does this to people? What can you do to help? Can you share this podcast? Can you share it with somebody who can help, who just needs to hear it? Other men who need to know that they're not alone, that this shit has happened to other people too. I don't have any answers. I'm just like anybody else in this life, trying to make it through as best I can. I don't have a real agenda. I don't wonder why the suicide rates for men are so high. I don't wonder why the rate of alcoholism and drug addiction is so astronomically higher with men. I get it. We're not allowed to have feelings. The toxic masculinity runs deep, but it's not masculinity that's toxic. The toxic masculinity is big boys don't cry. That we're not supposed to have feelings. That we're supposed to be stoic at all times. And not be weak. And not be vulnerable. And just provide. And just kill spiders and such. Go to work. Shut the fuck up. It's why we die earlier. It's not genetic. It's because we get beaten down. It fucking hurts. That's what's toxic. The pain. That old bullshit cliche of happy wife, happy life. Why can't everybody be happy? Wouldn't that be awesome? And I've said this before in this podcast. Wouldn't it be awesome if we had a society that was based on love and acceptance and people who had that combination of vulnerability, accountability, and integrity that is so rare, as opposed to the society full of walking, talking trauma responses who are raised on guilt, shame, and fear. With all the information we have and all the education we have available to us, when are we going to get to that point? Please, I got nothing else for this one.
My daddy played poker in the woods, they say, back in his younger days. Prohibition was a talk, but the rich folks walked to the woods where my daddy stayed. Jugs and jars, some shiners. These old boys here, they ain't miners. They came from the 29ers that didn't take a hole in the ground to put the bottom in their face. When the dust bowl dried in the woods of Alabama, didn't see no light. My daddy played poker by a hardwood fire, squeezing all his luck from a hot copper wire. Scrap like a wildcat, fights to the end. Trap a wildcat and take his skin. Deal from the bottom, put the ace in the hole. One hand on the jug, but you never do know. Sun come running the chains on the door. He couldn't get in, I could see he tried. Took the shadows of the cage round the 40-watt light. Stump in the woods, back when the world was gray, before black and white went and chose up sides and gave a little bit of both away. The only blood that's any cleaner is the blood that's blue or greener. Without either you just get meaner, and the blood you gave gives you away. So I could hear him rattling the chains on the door. He couldn't get in, I could see he tried. The shadows of the cage round the 40-watt light.
All right, so that was part 3. Part 4 is going to be the next time I go to jail, the Facebook trials of 2026. It also includes when I went to court in Cass County in 2024, and I did not endear myself to the judge, but I said what I wanted to say, regardless of the outcome. And then I went in front of the same judge and I won in 2026. I won twice. I've won twice so far this year. Beat the order of protection because I'm not a threat. And then I was found not guilty in the Facebook trials. So stay tuned. Same bat time, same bat channel.